Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayer's Live. And once more, this is my page by page reading and commentary of the Bible, Modern English Version. So today we're going to jump into Genesis 16, the birth of Ishmael. And I decided to read this in advance before coming in here because, as many of you heard yesterday, I have a bit of difficulty pronouncing some of the biblical names. So I wanted to make sure in this particular chapter I didn't mess up the names like I did yesterday. But this particular chapter, actually, I would say, is very imperative for women, young women to listen to, older women too, older women also, because the theme of this chapter has to do specifically with Abram's wife, Sarai, being barren and not being able to give him any children. And even though Abram has everything in the world that he could want, because he's incredibly favored by God, he's rich, he's like basically a king, everyone admires him, he's accomplished a lot, but of course, it's not enough. He wants children. So Sarai decides to make a compromise. And I don't want to give everything away just yet, but it's a compromise that she seems to regret to an extent later. So, again, this is a chapter of Genesis that I would particularly like women to pay close attention to. This is Genesis 16. And just remember that even though you may love somebody, you have to love yourself and you have to decide, okay, what can I live with versus what can I not live with? So let's get into it. The birth of Ishmael. Now, Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, and she had a maidservant, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Please go into my maid. It may be that I will obtain children through her." Abram listened to Sarai. So after Abram had been living for 10 years in the land of Canaan, Sarai, his wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. He went into Hagar, and she conceived. Something I thought about, I wonder how much choice Hagar had in this situation. Because at that time, women didn't exactly have the rights that we have today. And still today, I don't think we have enough rights. I think we live in a very biased society, meaning biased toward men. But still, I do wonder, especially considering what she had to contend with later. When she saw that she had conceived, she began to despise her mistress. So, in other words, Hagar conceived, and then she started thinking to herself, now, wait a minute. Sarai couldn't have any kids, and here I am carrying Abram's child. So maybe I should get a little bit more respect around here. Maybe I should become a bit more exalted. That's probably what she thought to herself. And, as a woman, meaning myself, who doesn't have children, I am going to tell you all something I've noticed. And this is probably why many women in my position tend not to be close friends or affiliated with women who are mothers. And I'm not saying all mothers pull this mess, but I just have noticed that women who are mothers, regardless of how good of mothers they are, how involved of mothers they tend to look down upon women who don't have children. And it pisses me off. It makes me sick. It angers me. And I just feel like half the time, people who are parents, mothers specifically, really aren't grateful enough for being mothers. I just feel that way. But the attitude that they tend to have toward women who either can't conceive or who have chosen not to, and that's my case, I've chosen not to, it's despicable. So I just kind of wanted to put my opinion on that out there. And I wanted to let that be known to women who are mothers. You need to be a lot more grateful for what you got. And when you encounter a woman who doesn't have children, be it due to medical reasons or due to her choice, you need to think twice before looking down upon her. Because sometimes what you think you have, you don't. And just as your children were given to you by God, they can be taken from you in the blink of an eye. So let me continue. When she saw that she had conceived, she began to despise her mistress. Then Sarai said to Abram, "May the wrong done to me be done on you. I gave my maid into your arms, and when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. May the Lord judge between you and me." So Sarai got pissed, and I feel her pain. Oh, I do. But Abram said to Sarai, "Indeed, your maid is in your power. Do to her as you please." Then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her presence. In other words, she told Hagar, "Bitch, you're going to have an attitude with me? Get out of here." I probably shouldn't have cursed during this commentary and reading. Sorry. But this particular chapter of the Bible speaks to me at this time in my life. It really does. The angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness. It was the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from and where are you going?" So anyway, Hagar was like, "Uh-oh, I messed up. I better get out of here." So she's on her way to Shur. And God had to send an angel to go and retrieve her and basically tell her to start acting right. So Hagar says, "I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit yourself to her authority." The angel of the Lord also said to her, "I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they will be too many to count." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "You are pregnant, and you will bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction. He will be a wild man, and his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand will be against him, and he will dwell in the presence of all his brothers." So, just to recap that very quickly, the angel had to talk some sense into her and be like, "Okay, you didn't act right. You need to humble yourself a little bit because you've been given quite the gift of a child. And look at who the child's father is. It's Abram. Everyone wants to have a kid by Abram. You got that. So be happy with that. And keep in mind, you didn't have money in those days. So really, Hagar had kind of hit the lottery. Did she really want to be a parent at that time? Who knows? But still, it was seen as valuable, especially if you have a son. And the angel pretty much guaranteed to her, "Look, you're going to be the mother of all these descendants," which makes the whole situation even more valuable. So, in modern day, if you were to equate that to modern day terms, the angel did kind of give her quite the financial package to go along with this birth. So, she shouldn't have been that upset. So, anyway, she heads back. She already knows her kid's going to be fairly successful. He's going to be some sort of a warrior, it sounds like. Then she called the name of the Lord that spoke to her, meaning Hagar. "You are the God who sees," for she said, How I now looked onto him who sees me. Therefore, the well was called Beer in Lahai. It is between Kadesh and Bread. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the son she bore Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. All right, so he finally got a son. There was a little bit of drama. Sarai got upset. I don't blame her. Trying to make her husband happy. She had to go through all that. Hagar needed a little bit of a sweetening of the package that she was bringing into the world. But the child was born. So I kind of want to go into Genesis 17 from here, but we'll wait till tomorrow because I do have quite a bit to do today and I need to go ahead and get started. But I hope all of you out there enjoyed this particular edition of my page by page reading of the Bible, Modern English Version. And I'm trying to mainly do these in the mornings. I'm back on a decent sleep schedule. Those of you who follow me extensively, you know that I've gone or undertaken quite the task this year of really, really, really focusing on my health and wellness. I quit smoking, quit drinking, exercising every day, eating very healthy, taking my vitamins and whatnot. And since taking my vitamins, and in particular some supplements, my sleep schedule about a week ago really got off. But now I'm back where I want to be, waking up early. So I feel like, hey, what a better way to start the day than by reading the Bible. So that's what I'll be doing until we get to the end. Right now, we're still in Genesis, and hopefully by the end of this month, we will reach the end of Genesis and we will do a live listening party of the audiobook, The Book of Enoch. So look forward to that. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye bye.